One semifinal is set. That's going to be Wenger versus Kilson happening tomorrow, and we're about to find out what will happen with the second semifinal in the upper bracket because Razy has earned his spot there, but now one of these two players will join him. It is going to be a matchup, our last quarterfinal matchup of the day, rapha versus cypher. I'm welcoming back to the desk Jackie and ZSX after a very exciting matchup between Wenger and Chain, and you guys get maybe the best one of the lot.
I think you're right. I think this is the best game of the night, right? Like, two very accomplished players from either sides of the globe that are just going to be giving it. I think this is potentially the best series we have in today's games.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this kid Cypher does against rapha. I've never really seen this one before. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it's going to be good. If it lives up to anything like we saw last time, I'm really excited.
Well, let's talk about these players a little bit. We kind of joked about it early on, but rapha has continued his map perfection streak. He went 27-0 in the Stage 1 weekly matches, and he's gone undefeated as he took out Garpy 2-0. But this is a different ball game here, as it's hard to imagine a 2-0 either way. We'll talk about predictions here in just a little bit, but rapha faces his toughest opponent here in the Stage 1 finals yet.
Oh, absolutely. This will be the biggest test, obviously. Bracket play, right? Whole different territory as well, going up against cypher. Yes, he hasn't dropped a map. Yes, he's looked absolutely unbeatable and lived up to the many different titles and accolades this man has. But I think there is a chance that potentially tonight on the server against cypher, that could change. I think this is where we see him drop his first map, and I think he drops two of them, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually seen both these players somewhat struggle in their plays so far. Obviously, Cypher going against Dramas made a bit of work, particularly on map 1, and similarly to rapha going head toe-to-toe against Garpy and just coming out on top on map 1 as well. So they're not showing us their ultimate form just yet. But when the chips are down, that's when these two champions really do show us what they're made of.
Yeah. I mean, great point, right? Like this is the game where if they haven't been bringing all of it up to this point, they know they both have to, right? Neither of these players is going to be surprised by how exceptionally the other one is. It is truly going to come down to the decisions that are made in this 20, potentially 30 minutes of Quake Champions that's going to take place. Obviously, picks and bans will come into play. That we'll see those in just a moment, but an incredibly exciting game to have here at the midpoint of day 2 of the Stage 1 finals. This best of 3 will determine who goes up against Razy. And, in a tournament with this level of talent, you guys, you want to stay in that upper bracket as long as you can. An interesting scenario is during the Quake World Championships, rapha managed to sail all the way through, never visiting that lower bracket. Is this the first time that he's going to be checking in down there and staying for a few nights? We're gonna ultimately see, but let's take a look at the picks and bans, find out what we've got going on here. And we've got Corrupted Keep, Tower of Koth, which I don't think I've seen either of these players play on yet, and Blood Covenant. Jackie, what do you think?
Ooh. I'm still going with my heart, and I am still going to be sticking to the fact that I think Cypher's going to turn up tonight and come in looking like Cypher the Pokemon, cut straight through him. But there's a big gleaming issue in this. Looking at this veto, I think rapha's done very well. Corrupted Keep, he's a big baller on Corrupted Keep. BJ as well. That's going to be huge for him to start this off. Koth is a bit of an interesting one. I completely agree in the sense where, in terms of seeing both of these players on this map, especially head-to-head as well, that's a whole new territory. So I don't even know what's going to happen on map 2. But Blood Covenant, that's an explosive finish if we actually get a third map between these two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would give the edge ever so slightly to rapha. Corrupted Keep's going to be a bit of a banger, having Anarchy back on that map. I love to see Cypher playing Anarchy on that map. He can really set the tempo, but we've already seen today how strong rapha can play, not only on that map, but with the BJ as well. Such a strong tactic he's got going with that one. As Jackie says, Koth is always a bit of an enigma, but Cypher's been picking it. He's got strategies. He's got a plan. Earlier, he played Anarchy. He's playing Sorlag now, completely the opposite. But again, gives him a stack, gives him a time and a champion to set the tempo. And if we end up on Blood Covenant with those two champions right there, we're in for a lot of fun.
Would you two say that this is indeed a matchup that could be a finals game?
Oh, yeah, hands down. I think this is like dream finals territory, right? This is one of those where, imagine if we had these two going head to head, there would be some ruckus in a best of 5 format.
Yeah, the only thing I'm sad of is this is a best of 3, so wish it was more towards the finals, but we'll see how they get on.
Well, the chat predictions opened up as well, and it looks like it's split, but no, it's actually favoring Rapha a little bit more for map 1, at least 69% to 30% for Cypher. So we will see. We're going to be jumping into this game soon, gentlemen. I'm going to leave you. I'll be watching as I always am, but enjoy and have fun. This is going to be a great one.
It really will. This is actually going to be super sick, Dan. Obviously, it's a treat to be back with you, mate. I've missed you all day. Honestly, it's not been the same. I think the deal with Lethal, but I'm glad to have you back for what is a crowning moment, really. I think this genuinely could be, if it lives up to the hype, the game of the tournament so far, right? Like, this is a sick game.
Yeah, I can see if Cypher wins, you might lose another button on that shirt just to show your
I'll take the shirt
approval. But I'm like everyone, if you're a Quake fan, if you're an FPS fan out there, you will have, 1, heard of this match, and 2, you would mark it in your calendar to come back to watch it. No matter what you're doing, you drop what you're doing and you get here to watch this matchup, because it's not only 2 legends, it's just 2 of the best players to have ever played this game. And I really do hope that Cypher can live up to his potential, because if I'm honest, my head says it's a rapha 2-0. My heart says it's going to be a Cypher 2-1. We'll see how that plays out.
I honestly think logistically, it's more likely that we do get a 2-1 out of this series, but I'm just going to go for it. You've got to go all in. I'm going for my boy. I think Cypher turns up. I think it's 2-0 Cypher. Damn, we'll have the conflict. We'll have
did you just curse it? I think you just cursed it.
I didn't curse anything. What I did is put a little bit of love on him. No, wait, don't do it. Don't put any bad juju on this one. Let's let it play out, because we're going into Corrupted Keep. I suppose, to be fair, the only curse is, right, Corrupted Keep is a starting map. That's Rapha's home turf. Like, he does not mess about when it comes to Corrupted Keep, Dan.
No, but at the same time, like, these 2 players, you look at every map, and when you're the player at the highest level, these 2 legends, there's never a weak map. And if we look back, really back in the old days of Quake, these 2 used to go head to head on a Lost World. Another map without a rail, another map highly positional, highly strategical, and it used to be incredibly close. And so I'm expecting more of the same here.
All right. A lot of history, a lot of pedigree. 2 very, very accomplished players inside of Quake. Rapha looking like an absolute god at the game at the minute as well. It's been all gas, no breaks from ever since Quake on. He's not stopped throughout this season, but this is the hardest opponent he faces yet. Straight in, pulling out the LG. Cypher's LG earlier on was absolutely miraculous. Some of the plays he was making with this gun, Dan, were unbelievable, and it already looks like he's still feeling it.
He is feeling it, and what I'm really enjoying about these initial engagements is, as much as Cypher has the upper hand, look at the strategy. He doesn't overcommit. He doesn't go into Rapha's trap. Instead, he does back off and he picks up the Mega. Some great approach play from Rapha to get onto that heavy. He didn't deserve that item, but he won it. And already we're seeing the meta game come out.
Bit of a slower pace to this one. The nail's being pulled out, but tons of damage done. Ooh, the rebuttal from Rapha is ridiculous. And the opening frag is established. BJ coming in clean with the opening pick. Here comes the double barrel shotties as well. 4 barrels for 2 frags.
And that's what we saw earlier today against Garpy. The pace that Rapha can set with the BJ is astounding, and always using that double dual wield to great effectiveness. And already he's got Cypher a little bit pinned up here on the lightning gun room. Just winning the way a little bit. Does decide to back off to pick up some of the light armors, deciding not to finish off his prey. Instead, giving a bit of a lifeline, which I'm a little bit surprised by. As Cypher does back off, uses the injector. Now he's got Rapha on the ropes. If Rapha gets out of this alive, I'll be quite astounded. He will get the heavy as it's just spawned, but the speed from Cypher is there, and Rapha goes down. But it is a victory for him to steal that heavy. And Cypher gets his first frag on the board.
Clean bit of damage as well with the HMG, barely dodging the plasma that's coming towards him. Tries to throttle Rapha in the choke point with the rockets. Rapha stacks slightly better. At least at this point, it falls back into a stalemate. We've got about a 4-second split between the items. So Cypher will deviate over towards heavy. It'll be up soon. Rapha's just gotten himself the Mega as well. So at this point, just dividing the map control here on Corrupted Keep.
Exactly, and now cypher should be favouring the heavy ever so slightly, given he has that inject, which he's using pretty much on cooldown. Already got the extra 4 health up there as well. And he's the one being more effective at range at the moment, something that rapha is often known for, but cypher, the master of elusiveness, the master at dealing damage when he's unseen. It is working for him.
3 minutes into this one. It's been quite slow. A lot of calculated fights. Obviously standard stuff from rapha. Cypher, though, on the close quarters engagement, misses out with the opening rocket, but hits the follow-up, does a nice 90 damage, and keeps on chaining them together. Oh, but that is rough. As good as the play was, you can't beat rapha. He always is somehow one step ahead, and the boot comes down once again, leaving Cypher dead, and it takes us back to a 3-2 split.
I think cypher would actually be a little bit upset that that fight played out the way it did. He's the one that actually got the initiative after the opening engagement from rapha. Nevertheless, they do trade, and cypher is able to get out here, but at what cost? He's very low, hasn't got really stacked. The inject's going to be back up in a second, but there's a long time between the major items. That's why we see him working his way back towards the mega room as he hears rapha's approach.
Oh.
Pressure is relentless from the American.
And obviously this is a great counter as well, right? Because cypher, when his LG is on point, you go in those head-to-head LG engagements, you can really start to unravel him, especially when you've got 2 of the bad boys. Because this is a shocking state of affairs being done by rapha. Forces him back once again. We've got 6 minutes still to play with on this. It is only a 2 frag differential, but the scary factor is that rapha is starting to get the feelers out there. He's getting into control of the game. He could fight as well here on top of heavy if he wants to. 3 seconds till it's up. Mega's going to spawn in, so instead they both dip back, grab their major items, and leave this one in a nice spot.
Yeah, both happy to trade items at the moment, and it shows how even it is when neither one player is making a concerted effort to try and create a wider berth in timing. Big rockets from rapha, but cypher should be able to get out here. Decides to stick around from the low ground, in fact doing a significant amount of damage to rapha.
Nearly at the halfway point. Really good rapha style of play. Ooh, living up to the normal height. It's like Neo versus Magneto, taking lightning fights from frightening heights. The shotgun pulled back out as well, back to the LG. Simple stuff. As he'll take a victory shot into the air and celebrate his success. 5 minutes in, the scoreline starting to blow out a bit. This is looking worrying for cypher.
Yeah, it is. That was a slight sign of desperation. rapha here with the jewel as well. You can see in the X-ray, and he just melts his opponent. cypher trying to stick around for that light armor, but it was a trap from rapha, who had the timing himself.
Ooh, straight into the doorway though. This is so awkward for cypher. Basically, craters back into the ground. His skateboard's broken. The confidence probably goes alongside it. But he's straight back in, looking to at least try and grab himself an opportunity down. But rapha's not missing with the LG at this point.
No, he's not. He's looking absolutely on fire right here, and he's got full control of the map. He's got at least 3 of the items on lockdown now. And cypher is on the ropes, let's say.
Yeah, he is firmly against the rope. rapha looking quite a lot like the Big Show as well. Just throwing him over the ring in a Royal Rumble type situation. Again, another kill picked up. 7 now, towering over cypher here. The Belarusian Bruiser is going to get back into the game. It has to happen very soon.
He's just been so efficient with everything he's done. I don't think I've seen him waste a single item pickup or a single use of his ability. Obviously, cypher got that early frag, but then since then, it's been the rapha show. And once again, he's low, but he's going to be able to back off and steal away all of the resources, leaving cypher with absolutely nothing to work with.
Oh, mate. Yeah, it was always scary. That's the thing. As soon as we saw the veto as well, right? You look at it and you're just thinking, Corrupted Keep, VJ. It's just a field day. It always is. Just such a lush environment for rapha to get into a game, especially if it's the first map of the series as well. And it's the best of 3, not a best of 5, like we said, right? So this is immediately a lot of pressure put on top of cypher. Straight off the back of this one. Bait play through the teleporter as well. The shotgun just finding so much success for rapha here into every encounter he gets into. He's just ruining him.
It is now kind of a victory lap for rapha, as he's not going to throw away a 10-frag league with only 2.5 minutes remaining. It has just been, again, another masterclass on how to play this map. See, absolute domination. This time he hasn't put as much of a stranglehold on the map as we saw against Garpy in terms of pure item control, but he still made sure he not only controlled at least one of the major items with the lights as well, and then just kept that pressure on Cypher the entire time. And this is what he does so well. Cypher's the one playing the Anarchy, but it is the BJ that looks like the much faster champion. He's constantly in your face.
Oh yeah, he doesn't stop. Just always front and center, ready for attention over and over again. Rapha is all over him like a rash, Dan. Rapha the Rash.
Don't think that's the best nickname.
Probably not. It'd be one you might get bullied for in school, but at the minute, he's certainly the bully on the server.
He is indeed, and he's enjoying this opening map victory. It's going to be a very different story as to approach into Koth, because it's a much more difficult map to set such a fast tempo on, and it's not as if rapha will only play at this tempo, but again, he's up against a Sorlag, so we'll need to be fairly consistent in his damage output towards Cypher, keeping in his face as much as he can. So that'll be a much more tactful approach for sure.
Crazy as well how calculated the first couple of minutes of the game were, and then out of nowhere, Rapha, he just goes into his sicko mode, doesn't he? He doesn't stop. And now the scoreline's just ludicrously bloated, and he's not even calming down. He'll just continue to make sure this game is in the books, as clean as possible, also keeping himself warm. The tracing's been so nice with the LGs. Gonna be a chance he gets himself a 16th kill as well, just to round it out with a little bit more flair.
And this was Cypher's server as well, so we'll be moving on to the NA server for the next map. Worrying signs for the Cypher fans.
It is. It is a very rough start. Obviously, map and champion-wise, it did always feel like it was an edge for Rapha. Look at the way he's playing. So cutthroat, straight in, time and time again. Yes, the game's already won, but he doesn't stop until he knows it's completely done, and he is just cleaning house. Yeah. At least Cypher getting something at the end there, but merely a consolation prize down, as this one's already in the books. Ouch
is the adjective I would use.
Yeah, it's a yikes.
Yikes. Oof. You know, they all fit.
What was that last one?
Sorry, I'm making it happen.
It was like the the Tim Allen, like
Oh, but, it was just clinical. Like the way Rapha plays Corrupted Keep is like no one else. He just has such a stranglehold on the map, and it's not like a Razy style where he just circulates the items and self damages to pick them up. He's so efficient in making sure he's using his stack to pressure you and taking damage in return. He then just walks back onto the items. The way he manipulates the fights to always take them so that he's the person to retreat onto the resources just shows you the level that this guy is thinking at. I don't even understand how he's that far ahead of other players.
Oh, it is absolutely crazy when you think about it, right? Like, Rapha's so far ahead in the future, even when he's in the present, he's reminiscing. It's mad how sick he is.
I love that. Yes, it's so true, though, and it's a level to aspire to as a player. It really is.
It is. It just shows to show the great understanding of the game, and the sickening aim as well with some of the shots he was actually pulling off. It's so dope to watch. A hell of a series so far, but just a masterclass display from Rapha on the first map. Of course, that is only the first map, though. We will be going into the second soon, and this is where it's, I'd say, a little bit spicier, just in terms of it being an unexpected pick, potentially, Dan, right? We get Tower of Koth next. This, I suppose officially is the first time we're ever going to see these two players go head-to-head on Tower of Koth, right? Since its introduction to the map pool.
Absolutely, and I have no idea what to expect. It's Cypher's pick. He picked it against James. He clearly has a plan. As I said, he picked the Anarchy against James. Now he's picking the Sorlag against Rapha, and I really like the Sorlag pick. As I spoke about with Wheat earlier, I'm enjoying the heavy picks this tournament. I think they just give you a lot more versatility and flexibility. But you're going against Rapha. He clearly will have a plan. He has the Ranger, which means he can match the tempo of Cypher, the rocket jump passives, the burst damage from the orb, the maneuverability from the orb. I'm expecting fireworks on this one, and I'm expecting it to be a lot more even than we just saw.
Yeah, no, definitely so. I think there is more room for that. I saw a little bit of Cypher on Koth earlier today as well, and he looked crisp. A lot of that was down to his LG use. We didn't get to see too much of it on Corrupted Keep. When he did whip it out, it was at least on point. But obviously, it's just rough when you've got 2 LGs in your face just countering you, and he couldn't deal with it, right? Hopefully, it'll be a bit of a closer map, because I think it could be a super sick game. I think the size of the map plays into their hands as well, with 2 very smart players in this environment.
Exactly, a lot more strategy coming up for sure, unlike the relentless pressure coming out on Corrupted Keep, and it's always a risky map to play in a tournament setting, quite similar to Deep Embrace, and particularly against rapha, because if you don't get that momentum early on, it can just snowball out of control, and to break that grip that rapha had on the map is virtually impossible. And he's the only person I really see picking the Blazkowicz on it, so I'm surprised more players aren't learning from the way he uses it and the tempo he plays it at.
Yeah, because obviously you can just bully off like major items every time, right? It's so easy to just pop it out, especially if you can farm hourglasses. It's up pretty consistently. It's even as a scare tactic if you don't actually want to use it for fights. When he did want to use it for fights, though, it worked out very efficiently as well. So good play from rapha. It looks like we are heading into the second map now, though, so we'll be live with this one quite soon. I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be dope. The only issue is, even though it's Sorlag versus Ranger, I don't know, Dan. I think it's still too hard to call. I was thinking potentially this was going to be Cypher just coming out and giving it.
Yeah,
After
you might drop to 2-0
Yeah.
Cypher. I think you're regretting that one now, you silly Billy.
I wouldn't say regret as much as remorse and panic.
Like when you check your bank statement.
Yeah, and you get like a bit of a red face. You're like,
Exactly. Oh no, what did I do?
What do you mean £500 gone?
Yeah, okay.
A nightmare.
On that shirt.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. But who's going to be burning money, or who's going to be making money coming into the second map? There's a timeline here where rapha 2-0s. This shuts it down. We were talking about this with the prestige of a grand final matchup, because that's what it is. It absolutely deserves that title. But we'll see if that's going to be the case, if we will get a third out of this, or if this will be the bookend of the series and rapha can take the 2-0.
We will see. Definitely pressure on Cypher here, as he's the one with a map to make up. His map choice now, and that's not the best start. As he's eating rockets left, right, and centre. He will get out on top, but at what cost? He won't be able to get away, and quite literally the worst start possible.
Yeah, that's like basically as early as a frag as you can get on this map, pretty much, right?
Literally, yeah. And we've seen 1-0 victories on this map, so, you know, work to do.
That's a rut row, I believe. Could be quite scary. Final rocket being used by rapha there to get himself back up on the high ground. Does have a rail and an LG to work with as well. Actually in at least a little bit of a worrying spot in terms of overall stack. Mega's just come up, and that's going to be grabbed by Cypher, who had the good positioning for it. rapha has a dire orb in reserve.
Ooh, tasty.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lovely little face. Oh no, trapped on the stairway though. A 90 on the fadeaway.
No rockets from rapha, though, so we can't actually follow up here. He's just trying to pick out another rare angle. He's got Cypher on the low ground. He'll be able to hit one on the tail. And she is a chunky girl. And the orb, he's mistimed that so slightly. Actually misses. Oh, I thought he was going for the mega, but in fact, I misread the timings. It was a great play to jump over to the heavy, and now he's just actually pushing for Cypher, and he's got him in circles there. Cypher, no idea what's going on.
Left with little stars all around his head, dazed and confused. rapha's the one pumping him full of that fear and loathing. So we're not even at 2 minutes, and he's already got himself 2 kills. Came out with the gate swinging. And now we can afford to play this slow as well, even from this point. A map like Koth, right? If you just grind this out and go to the smart style of Quake that we know rapha just plays so effortlessly, this puts him into a great position already.
Yeah, I'm clicking over to Cypher's POV, and he's playing slow. He's pretty scared at the moment. He's not entirely sure where rapha is. They're going to meet here over by the Mega. It's an important item for Cypher to win. He gets it, but rapha's there, set up to deal some good damage. He's ticking away, but he does get the health bubble as well and backs off. And what rapha's doing really well at the moment, he's just working the high ground. Cypher's not able to get on it, and they do meet here, and the big rockets from Cypher actually unexpectedly taking that frag.
Cypher at least closes the gap slightly. That yard pole dropping down into more reasonable sort of, 5 meter kind of distance here to work with now. If he can Build off the back of the items he's getting as well. Potentially can get himself into the game. Rocket jumps straight for the teleporter, goes back to get himself the light armor as well. And he's playing with the momentum a bit more. He has 3 rockets, so low on ammo, and he needs to make the most of them. Winning out on the fight for the heavy, though, is sick. This is huge for him. Gets a little tap off, just a love tap with the LG as Rapha drops back. And he still wants to fight. He's giving opportunities here. The rail won't land, and this is looking scary.
It is looking scary, and cypher has definitely picked up the tempo, but as you can see, Rapha's doing a good job of making sure he's dealing this damage from range because he has to keep on top of that Sorlag stack. If cypher hits that critical mass and gets chunky, suddenly he can just push in relatively carefree.
You
can see now.
Push there.
Yeah, you can see now as he works his way back towards this mega, what level of stack cypher will get as soon as he picks this up. Rapha's in position, but has to retreat. Might hit another rail languid out here. Cypher's more than ready. He does connect. So Rapha's done his job for now.
Okay, nice. I like it. Gliding through the air, gets the tag off with the LG, trying to do a little bit more. Rapha dire orbs out, but he was already quick with the reflexes and hunts him down, tracking and tracing him. The heavy spawns in though, and that will benefit Rapha a lot. Still connects the rail, tries to keep it within a thread, but loses out as he will go down. Rapha, again, 2 kills up here. We've only played out 4 minutes of KOF. It has been pretty aggressive in very sudden bursts. Lots of interval of downtime, playing off the back of the size of the map. With this elevated angle in favor of Rapha, though, trying to do a little bit of fadeaway damage before he backs out, as he's low on stack. Cypher coming in with that big starting advantage, especially when he adds that vest to his chest as well. That's going to help him out a lot here. He's not hunting for it, Dan. Backing off again.
Uncharacteristic over-aggression from Cypher there. Obviously, we all saw the thought plan, but Rapha was prepared for it, and Cypher didn't do enough damage before the engagement to make it count. You might be able to hear as he's done quite a lot of damage. Rapha does actually just clip the fall onto the Mega. Cypher will back off to pick up this heavy, but Rapha is in a position to try and, again, deal some damage on the exit if Cypher makes this route. And you can see the game plan from Rapha. Play this high ground, keep the orb in reserve to get away from your opponent if Cypher's pushing in. Just try and keep him at range. Oh, big rockets from Cypher.
Oh, the rail! Oh, mate. Oh. There was a possibility there where he actually pulled that one off. The sudden burst of damage coming out was pretty wild.
That would have been a keyboard breaker if Cypher died there.
Oh, yeah, he'd need a Steel Series 7G, mate. The one with the little metal backplate in, that would tank it.
Oh,
talking of tanking, hello! The rocket straight to the face, then the follow-up from the rail. Smooth transition. Now he's getting into the game. Now we're getting into the groove. And with 4 minutes remaining, there could be some funky plays laid out in front of us, Daniel.
Oh, melted.
Good night.
Yeah, nice little push from Rapha there. Cypher slightly losing concentration and caught off guard by Rapha and makes him pay as we are now 4-3 with 4 minutes to go. But still comfortable for Cypher. Needs to get himself some weapons.
This is crazy. It's been a very quiet and then very aggressive game. Sudden bursts of damage coming out between the two of them. Rapha at this point again. Similar position, low on stack, pieces out, clears the distance in record time to get back over to the heavy just as Cypher arrives. This seems to be quite an important fight between the both of them, but Rapha, master of trigonometry there, lines up the angle, rocket jumps his way back out, and again has high ground. Another advantage to work with. Dire Orb goes in to close the gap between the both of them, but he misses out on the predictive rocket. At least with the LG, he does a little bit more, tickling Cypher. God, these sustained fights, Dan.
And it shows you how much emphasis Rapha's putting on trying to take away as many resources as he can from Cypher. Hyper-aggressive push, just to take that away.
It's still only 1 kill as well. 4-3. So this could definitely get Larry if Sorlag is given an opportunity to get back back in the game. Opens up the door, goes for the predictive. 2 rockets coming down, actually pretty close to connecting as well. So that's some scary stuff. Innovative angles being put to play here by rapha. And he's just holding again. Obviously has a good edge. He can afford to.
It's all about delaying from rapha's point of view now, trying to do any damage on pickups as you can. As soon as you don't, you're in for a little bit of trouble. So need to take up some sort of defensive position here. That's why we see him playing nice and slow, keeping to the low ground now because Cypher had time to set up on the high ground. Cypher drops down, tries to hit him through the grate, but rapha's ready for that and backs off quickly. Keeping the orb in reserve once again. In case this happens, goes through for the additional burst damage. Quickly switches to the rocket, and Cypher comes out licking his wounds, but that rocket!
Mate! 4 to 4? That's ridiculous. C4 on your door, rapha's breathing no more as he was just hit with a rocket straight to the brain. And now this game is firmly in full throttle. The final minute and 30 seconds here decides whether or not we're going to a third map or if it will be picked up as a 2-0 for rapha. He'll stay in the upper bracket. The same cannot be said for Cypher. The Belarusian lunatic would be dropped down into the lower bracket if he loses out on this one. As things stand, though, the game is tied. We're getting closer towards the final 60 seconds. A bit of damage done from rapha sends Cypher packing, but that bit of damage is being quickly followed up by a chaser. He drops in, comes around the corner with a shotgun, and finishes him off.
Oh my word. He's low though, and Cypher's got the jump pad. He's got a stack to work with and gets rapha down to tie it up with 50 seconds to go. Woo.
This game does not want to be done. The series does not want to be over yet. Potentially, they could calm down on this one as well. Play it out closer towards sudden death. Item timing, we've got about a 10-second split between them. 3 seconds till heavy's up. And Cypher parks himself on top of it like a mother hen waiting for their egg to hatch. Would a nest egg of this game give him any more opportunities though, Dan? As he's charging in, Mega's up in 2 seconds. He's actually got ahead of the curve. He's there already. Knows exactly where rapha is.
Exactly. He knows he's on the ropes. He wants to get this Mega, and then he's going to push because there's a long time before this next heavy. rapha's going to have to run, and he's going to have to hide because he doesn't want to meet the beastie Sorlag in this type of condition.
Sudden death.
Cypher knows he wants to finish it now. He can't let rapha get into a defensive position because he will just knuckle down, dig himself a trench, and take these pot shots whenever he can.
rapha basically has to become a sniper. Slowly chip away at him from a distance. He's doing a great job of it.
Yeah.
You think of how large the stack was, right? That's dropped in seconds.
Yeah, and he's won himself the Mega, a rail, some clicks of LG. Super smart play and positioning from rapha. And now Cypher wants to be a little bit careful. We've already seen how treacherous any of these engagements can be. They turn on a head in an instant when rapha uses that orb through the burst damage and repositioning. So Cypher has to be incredibly careful. He hears rapha down below. rapha doesn't know he's there. He tries to drop, but actually bonks his head on the way down.
Oh, no.
Doesn't get any damage and loses position as well.
The peak was there. It felt like he was on a platter, but he's missed. He's tried to go in to grab himself a delicious treat, but instead he's just got the beans all down his shirt. Oh, the business being given in though by rapha here as he's starting to get a little bit aggro. Cypher has to backpedal, needs to stay alive. Panic spam of rockets coming out, but look how low his stack is, down to 65 HP. This is not favoring him whatsoever. Once again, looks to set up a trap. He's back over by heavy, but that's not going to be there for another 30 seconds. So he really doesn't have much of an edge. He's being starved out.
And rapha is like a hawk up above, listening, waiting for his prey to make the right movement. He's actually double backed and got Cypher as he drops down and takes a very close map, making it 2-0, knocking the Belarusian former champion down to the lower bracket.
I think for what it is, that was probably the best map of KOF I've seen, honestly, of everyone that's played it, in terms of the duality of it. Some of the crazy reposition plays that came out from rapha. It was a hell of a fight, but in the end, it's a 2-0, Dan.
It was messy, it was hectic, but it was 2-0. Some really nice play from rapha to prevent Cypher from making all of those heavy engagement plays he wanted to. So, yeah, I think you're right. One of the best games of KOF we've seen. And unfortunately for Cypher fans and all those people with the points in chat, you lost out for this one.
I was wrong. But someone that's always right, of course, is DJ Wheat, and he's coming back to make sure we don't do anything silly.
I mean, Jackie, you were half right. It was a 2-0.
Yeah, just the wrong way round.
Yeah.
You know.
That's like giving him a gold star.
That last map, you're right. I agree with you 100%. One of the best Tower of Koth games I think I've seen. So much, some absolutely sick shots, the repositioning, the control, just the mental games that were happening there were just insane. And then Rapha just, kind of owned map one. I can't believe versus a player like Cypher that Rapha still holds on to my haven't lost a map yet this season. It's just nuts. It's
getting close,
nuts.
though. It's getting closer.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's not what Rapha plays for, right? He's not playing to be like, I can't let my map record have a blemish on it. He's playing to win. But it's just incredible to think like that is the feat, that is the legacy that he continues to carry on here in the season 2, stage 1. Just, I don't know. That's wild. All of these quarterfinal matches were a super treat.
Oh, they've all been sick games. Like, this is crazy. And again, right, although we kind of, we were putting that pedigree on it of saying this is like a grand finals matchup, there were so many nuances of just really high tier Quake that you don't get to see all the time, which even though it's a 2-0, it was still just a blessing to have both of these boys going at it in what was a very important matchup. So for that reason, it was still sick.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, good job, you gentlemen. Good job. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, it's time to now focus our attention on the lower bracket, and that means that players will stay alive and survive, and others will fall, ending their tournament run here for the stage 1 final. So stick around, grab a snack, take a bio break, whatever you need to do. When we come back, the lower bracket continues. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.